Tonight, Alexei Navalny's death sparking outrage among his supporters in Russia and around the world.
We know that Putin is responsible.
Across Russia, Navalny's grieving supporters laying flowers in his memory and praying, braving a ban on any tributes, more than 300 arrested. His mother trying to retrieve his body from the morgue and stop Russia from hiding evidence of possible murder. But she's told his remains are no longer there. His spokeswoman tweeting, "It's obvious they are lying and doing everything they can to avoid handing over the body."
Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you.
In an exclusive interview, I pressed Vice President Kamala Harris on this question, and also who's responsible for Navalny's death.
Is there any indication that it's not Vladimir Putin? Do we have any evidence?
We will verify it at some point.
His spokesperson has said they want the body back, and that the Russians are now investigating his body. Destroying evidence, perhaps?
Well, I wouldn't put it past them, but we'll make a determination.
The death of Putin's most celebrated opposition leader galvanizing world leaders gathered in Munich, along with Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Putin is a threat to all free nations. Putin is the monster who invaded Ukraine and killed thousands and thousands of people and kidnapped and deported at least tens of thousands of Ukrainian children.
Harris meeting with Zelensky and promising the U.S. will send more weapons.
We stand with Ukraine. We have stood with Ukraine since day one.
We are thankful for this, but we need now your unity during such a challenging period for us.
But with Ukraine retreating overnight from a frontline city, now decimated by Russian attacks.
Do you think that Ukraine can survive a year, this year, on the battlefield without American aid?
Ukraine needs our support, and we must give it.
President, how are you?
Tonight, Zelensky telling members of Congress from both parties that without more U.S. air defenses, Ukraine will keep losing ground.
We need to do our part. Do we stand with our friends in the face of extreme brutality or not? And I say we stand with our friends.
Do you think that Vladimir Putin has been emboldened by what Donald Trump said about NATO and about Putin?
I mean, the idea that the former president of the United States would say that he, quote, encourages a brutal dictator to invade our allies, and that the United States of America would simply stand by and watch. No previous United States president, regardless of their party, has bowed down to a Russian dictator before. And now we are seeing an example of something I just believe that the American people would never support.
Andrea joins us from Munich. Now, Andrea, on the situation in Gaza, today Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu repeated his intention to go into Rafah. What did the vice president have to say?
Well, that's right, Jose. Harris told me she's concerned about the more than 1 million people sheltering there. But she says the president has not decided to stop arming Israel.